The St. James, located in Springfield, Virginia, is the home for this afternoon's high school basketball showcase. You're watching ESPN High School Basketball, presented by the United States Marine Corps, where this afternoon we have got a matchup for the ages. La Lumiere against Oak Hill Academy of Virginia. Good afternoon, and glad that you could join us alongside Adam Finkelstein. I'm Joe Tordy, and Adam, you think these two teams know each other a little bit? Dating back to that 2019 national semifinal game, there's not a lot of love lost between these two.
Well, when you're two of the very best teams in the entire country, year in and year out, you're going to run into each other time and time again, and they certainly did that back in 2019. If that face looks familiar, that's because he's in the NBA right now. Isaiah Stewart was a man among boys, and he led that dramatic victory over Cole Anthony and La Lumiere. There you see the mutual respect and recognition there. I'll tell you what, we're going to run it back.
There's a lot of admiration going around the country for MJ Rice for Oak Hill. He's a special player, Adam.
He really is, and this is an Oak Hill team that doesn't necessarily have as many big names, so to speak, as they might have a couple years ago or even last year, but they have become much more than the sum of their individual parts. And MJ Rice playing a leadership role at a young age, just a junior, but he is both physically mature, as you see, and also mentally mature with his approach this year. And then for La Lu, Vincent Iwuchukwu, this guy is a mountain of a man. Tell you what, the progression of his skill set has been really impressive. He's been making threes this week. We know he can finish at the rim. We know he can block shots. The expansion of his offensive game has been really impressive here in the last week.
Warm-ups are any indication, he is ready to go. He was the vocal and emotional leader of the La Lu layup line. Well, let's face it, it was more of a dunk line. Tip is up, and it bounces right to Iwuchukwu, and we are underway. And you take a look at the starting lineup presented by the United States Marine Corps. Iwuchukwu will be large down low in more ways than one.
J.J. Starling, another ESPN 60 prospect to watch.
Looking at the Oak Hill starting five, MJ Rice and Jalen Ricks form quite a backcourt, and Rice is one of the more exciting players to watch in the country.
Oak Hill has done it by committee this week. They are playing some just terrific cohesion all weekend long.
Here's Rice muscling his way in and scoring. You can see immediately what attracts other colleges to him.
I mean, that's what most juniors in high school look like, right? I mean, an absolute man among boys. His ability to go through contact, second to none in that 2022 class.
La Lumiere brings plenty of star power to the table as well. None bigger than Iwuchukwu, looking down low, and a nice find. Trayton Thompson finishes it off at the baby hook.
Yeah, some continuity ball screen action in the high-low there. Trayton Thompson, who is signed with Minnesota, showing you that size and skill combination.
Cameron Carter, and he's a good shooter, shows it right there.
That was a tough shot, almost a double clutch on the way up. Good elevation on the pull-up for Carter. True senior, unsigned senior as well.
He's had a really good week in terms of shooting the basketball here as well.
And he's a great example, a microcosm, if you will, for this Oak Hill team. Not a guy who had a national reputation before this year, arrived at Oak Hill late for his senior year, but has stepped up into the big role in the last few months.
Two stars butting horns down low as MJ Rice goes one-on-one with Iwuchukwu.
Watch the power, the ability to get downhill, absorb contact, and maintain his balance.
Got it done on the back end as well. Number 10 on the ESPN 60, and Iwuchukwu climbs the ladder and flushes it home.
What a pass, though, from Chisholm Akpara, handed it off, and Iwuchukwu getting up, throwing it down, and bringing the emotion. Little dive action off the baseline out of bounds. And what I like about that is the quick finishing ability for Iwuchukwu. That's an area of his game that, quite frankly, this week has looked like needed some progression, but I like the quick catch and finish instincts there. Definitely an improvement over what we've seen earlier this week.
Iwuchukwu is going to have another shot at it, and it was team defense there by Oak Hill. Second chance opportunity doesn't hurt him. Ricks gives it up for Carter. MJ Rice, number 0, walking towards the bottom of your screen. Carter, the fadeaway. Second chance won't go either. Iwachukwu cleans the glass. Akpara eyes up a three. That's Foster. There's MJ Rice. We talked about how highly ranked and recruited he is. Number 10 in the class of 22.
Well, these are two of the most impressive physical specimens in that 2022 class, because we talked about Rice's power, but he's being guarded by Chisholm Akpara, who's 6'7", 218 pounds of sheer muscle.
Offers from Boston College, Louisville, Pitt, and others as you take a look at all of the top 60 talent that is on the court before you. And we haven't even mentioned J.J. Starling.
Well, J.J. Starling, number 59 in the ESPN 60. He is a big guard, highly skilled, great shooting strokes, super high character. Really knows how to play as well. There you get a look at him.
Rice hits from the free throw line. And it's interesting you talk about Iwachukwu and Rice to think that they've still got time to develop before taking their talents to the college ranks. They look ready to go from a physical perspective.
I mean, they're barely halfway into their high school careers, and it's amazing how far along they are physically at this stage.
Jeremy Fears, four-star point guard from Joliet, Illinois, running the show for LaLue.
And a true point guard, really a distributor who's willing to sacrifice his individual offense. Great pick and roll action there. Got to the second side of the floor. J.J. Starling throwing over the top to Iwachukwu.
Listed at 7 feet, 225 pounds. Not sure how many answers for that you're going to see at the high school level. Corner drive poked away. Good defense there by Fears.
Good show there on the pick and roll defense by Iwachukwu.
That's an offensive foul call that's going the other way. Called against Carter, the first for him.
Oak Hill gonna continue to extend their pressure here. Like a diamond in one type coverage from the Warriors.
Iwachukwu operating on that high post. Fears picked up his dribble, but gets it back.
Well, LaLue has always been a program that wants to run their offense. A well-designed playbook.
Slash in and a kick, good find. And a finish, J.J. Starling.
Love that decision there by Akpara. His second real high-level find. I thought he forced that first three he took a couple of possessions ago, but he's gotten Iwachukwu for a dunk, and now he's gotten Starling for an open three.
Rice answers on the other end with a triple of his own.
Such a hard cover because on that ball screen, you can't go under. He'll make the three as you've seen, but at the same time, you chase him over the top, he's going to get downhill, so he really forces you to pick your poison.
Defending J.J. Starling as well, so doing a little bit of everything for Oak Hill. Fears. Here's Iwachukwu. Second effort from Fears, yes.
Great job there. Fears rarely going to look for his own offense, but opportunistic on the offensive glass that time. The true point guard, the floor general who runs the show.
Ricks has Trayton Thompson on him. Rice had half a second for a three. Shot clock down to 5. Rice, tough shot. Never hit the rim. And a shot clock violation. Good defense by LaLue.
Get another look at the big fella, Vincent Iwachukwu, who is just assaulting the rim here through the first 5.5 minutes. Over the top from J.J. Starling. Took it easy on the rim that time, but the first one was even harder.
ESPN High School Basketball is presented by the Marines. The battle to belong begins here. We've got quite a battle going on right now as La Lumiere with a 2-point lead over Oak Hill in the early going, along with Adam Finkelstein, Joe Tordy here with you. And Adam, it's Both teams really getting hot on the outside.
Well, you can see why they're two of the best teams in high school basketball year in and year out. They're sharing the basketball, they're getting good looks, and you can see the individual talent of their guys knocking shots down. That first one, J.J. Starling, and of course, M.J. Rice. Don't go under that screen. He will splash it on you as well.
Plenty of ESPN 60 talent in this game with Rice, Starling, and Iwachukwu. And it's exciting to get to see a backcourt head-to-head battle because you don't always get that. And in this game, when these two schools are so familiar with each other, these players are competing as well.
No doubt about that. Oak Hill looks like a 2-3 zone out of the timeout, trying to negate whatever Coach Holmes drew up in that huddle for Lalu.
Iwachukwu gets it blocked from behind by Rice. Carter gave it up. Rice.
Can't allow him to get in that kind of rhythm, though. It's such a hard thing because you have to respect his jumper, but because of that body type and his ability to get downhill, you're really leery of lunging at him, running him off the line.
Well, he's shown off what he can do defensively. He's been physical as well. As the flush inside comes from Keba Jai on the inside.
Absolutely love what Chisholm Akpara is doing right now. This is a guy who I've watched for years, and at times I've been critical of his shot selection. He can kind of, the ball can stick to him at times, but right now he's making plays for other people. Talk about making plays. How about M.J. Rice going up, taking that contact, shielding it off, and finishing.
Back to Rice, it's a good opportunity. I mean, he's done a little bit of everything in the early going. As a junior, Adam, what is there to add to the game that you'd like to see?
Well, I think whenever you're a guy who's that big and that strong in an early age, you have to recognize that that physical gap you have right now is eventually going to close. Other guys are going to begin to catch up, and so the key is to maintain your dominance, but do it, continue to expand that skill set so as others close the gap physically, you don't lose what makes you so good.
He's looked pretty good in the early going, but Lalu has the 2-point lead.
It's just a high-level game here through the first 7 minutes.
A.J. Williams, haven't called his name. He's another guy who can score in bunches for Oak Hill. Carter gets his shot thrown in the blender, but a foul. Looks like it might go against Starling down low. Carter at the free throw line, the senior, can pull his team even.
Rocco Muratori coming over, saying, not while I'm in the game. Foul or not, this layup's not happening.
He of the size 18 shoe. Rocco Muratori at 7'2".
Said he was 6'6" when he was in the 8th grade. Of course, now he's a senior.
Sheesh. Big kid gets supersized.
No doubt about that. And I tell you, this is a La Lumiere program that has tremendous size. I mean, you see right now they're in their second unit, but to play Akpara at the 3, again, he's 6'8" and about 220 pounds of sheer muscle. That's more size than you see in most college games and in some NBA games, quite frankly.
Just no finish on the left. And now here comes Oak Hill the other way. Getting fouled on 3 there was Jalen Ricks, and Ricks is a dangerous shooter from the outside. Don't often see him miss that badly. The foul explains a lot.
Well, Fears knew that scouting report, so he ran hard at the shooter, but just caught a little bit of the shooting hand, so that's going to allow Ricks to get himself to the free throw line.
Ricks attracting offers from Auburn, Arkansas, Oklahoma State, and Texas A&M.
See that perimeter size at 6'6", that long, wiry frame, ideal for basketball and soft shooting touch to match.
Yeah, pretty good through 2 out of these 3. M.J. Rice will take a breather here for the final 23 seconds of this quarter.
But that's just the veteran coaching, because you buy him a couple of minutes, but only take 23 seconds off his total minute count.
Steve Smith, who's coached over 100 D1 players at Oak Hill, might know a thing or two about managing talent.
Managing personalities as well.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that.
As good as it gets.
Parra looking down low again. Foul called as down low. Jai was looking for the hook, and he got hit.
It's the fourth high-level pass we've seen from Akpara, that one in the pick and roll. And this is a new dimension to his game. He's been so efficient here in the first quarter, making everybody around him better. Just love his mentality right now.
First one won't fall for Jai. And when you look at Akpara's recruiting, it's kind of all over the place. Schools from lots of different conferences, lots of different programs are interested across all levels.
Well, he's a high major recruit. You know, it's been what you've seen is the escalation. You saw some Ivy Leagues get involved early, but now it's to the point where the high majors are in. He's only going to continue to get more high majors in the coming months.
Foster in transition gives it up for Ricks. Ricks with one to shoot. Hits it from the top of the key. We talked about the ability of Ricks to fill it up from the outside, and he comes up big in the clutch to end quarter number one.
A broken play went off his foot, but how about the tough shot to make up for it? Watch this.
Don't make it any better than that. Ricks with just a second. That's all he needed. Oak Hill by 6.
Oak Hill Academy up 19-13 after one quarter, and the play of MJ Rice a big reason why. He's been a man among boys, but it's not just about the power. He can shoot it too, doing a little bit of everything here for Oak Hill in the first 8 minutes.
You're talking about 9 points, 4 assists, 2 blocks. Make that 4 rebounds, and you look at what the number 10 in the ESPN 60's done to key this 10-0 Oak Hill run. He's a special player.
Doubt about that. The maturity in his game, not just physically, but in his approach as well.
Foster in control for Oak Hill. He's gone on a run. The scoring's dried up for La Lumiere.
Foster's just a sophomore, but he's got terrific size for a point guard.
Shot misses badly. Good challenge there by La Lu. And it goes down. Fears walking it up a 4-star, and you talk about a true point guard. It's interesting as you see guards scoring more and more that there's still a market for a guy who's a floor general.
Well, he's a guy that other players like to play with, and as you watch the scoring guards who get themselves in social media and on SportsCenter if they're in the NBA, what sometimes gets lost is the fact that players don't always like to play with a point guard who takes 20 shots a game. Sometimes they want a guy who's going to make plays for them first and foremost, and that's exactly what you're going to get with Fears.
Akpara putting it on the floor and getting to the rim. Akpara's looked good in the early going here.
Yeah, he's played tremendously well, settled on his first possession of the game, but has been ultra efficient since there, and a great drive that time.
And defensively he was there, but a foul called. Looks like it's going on him.
Yeah, it's a tough matchup there because he's just a bigger body, but get another look at this block. It's with authority.
Iwachukwu, you would think normally be able to keep it high enough, but not high to keep it away from Jalen Reed.
6'7", still a little bit under the radar. He's got some early interest from Ole Miss, but he's had some good moments here this week. Nothing too real gaudy numbers, but 4 points, 5 rebounds against Legacy, 4 points, 6 rebounds coming off the bench against Hamilton Heights, so making nice contributions for head coach Steve Smith.
Ricks 1 for 2 at the line, and Akpara comes down with the board. Bronxville, New York native. Being guarded by MJ Rice. Akpara, good feed down low, and Iwachukwu finishes it off.
And see, that's what I mean about Lalu is a team that wants to score out of their action. They're going to come down. They want to run their sets. They're a very good execution team, and that's been the case year in and year out.
Rice. Man, what body control and toughness to finish that one off. Got the roll as well.
Yeah, that's just bully ball. It's going to back you down in the post, get you up in the air, go right through the contact.
Rice into double figures scoring. Iwachukwu currently under 50% from the field. If you're Oak Hill, you'll take that all day.
No reason to dribble that ball. If you're Iwachukwu, you don't put that ball on the floor and let those defenders collapse on a high bounce ball.
Reed's done a nice job on him through the first quarter plus. Trigger pulled there by A.J. Williams, but that wouldn't fall a foul anyway.
Here's Chisholm Akpara, a nice find there for Iwachukwu. Another good pass from Akpara, and then down here, no passes needed, just going right through the two of you.
Tough finish there by Rice, and you look at the way that he's able to collect points around the rim, knowing that he's getting a lot of bodies thrown at him. It's going to be something that serves him well as he moves forward into his senior year and beyond.
But that's the part we talk about what comes next. Well, the physical progression that most high school guys still need to work on. This guy's already got a college-ready body. He's only a junior in high school.
Nice take by A.J. Williams as he tag teamed with Cameron Carter to run the fast break.
A good body control layup. I think that's really been a key here for Oak Hill. They're getting easy baskets inside the paint where Lalu having to work a little bit harder for their buckets.
Fears gives it up, and now it is J.J. Starling dumping it down low.
See how he didn't immediately put the ball on the floor, though? He caught, gathered, got that chin on his inside shoulder to see if there was a second defender coming, and then he started to make his move. That's the difference between a turnover and a foul.
It seems like every school in the Big 12 wants Vince Iwachukwu. It seems like he's attracting all of those kinds of schools, and obviously with his body you can see why too, but he brings more than just a big frame.
Well, and if you're a guy like Iwachukwu or MJ Rice, the bottom line is you can go wherever you want to go. I mean, there are schools that may not have offered yet, but if they thought they had a chance to get him, either one of those kids, they'd be more than interested in recruiting him.
Speaking of the next level, Big Monday is right around the corner, and we've got two big games for you tomorrow on ESPN and the app. Florida State squares off against number 16 Louisville at 7 Eastern. Then we head to the Big 12 matchup of the night. Number 6 Kansas takes on number 2 Baylor in a Sonic blockbuster. Rice going back to work, steps back, steps up, and hits it.
Good defense, better offense.
Something I've noticed early on, Adam, it seems like Rice is able to finish when things are not on schedule, when things are a little bit hectic. That doesn't bother him a little bit.
Yeah, he's got a knack for just getting buckets. I don't mean for that to sound unsophisticated, but it's not always going to go the way you drew it up. Sometimes you just got to be able to figure it out.
Foul called down low, and that stops the Oak Hill run out.
And this is what we mean when we talk about how this Oak Hill team has become more than the sum of their individual parts. This team is so good, and yet their best player is only a junior. They probably won't have a McDonald's All-American this year on the roster, which is almost unheard of at Oak Hill. And yet they're out here just playing at such a high level, and that ultimately is a tribute and a credit to Steve Smith and his staff and the job they've done.
And both in terms of X's and O's and program building, that the culture would still exist without all of that McDonald's All-American talent.
Right, no doubt about it. And I think culture is an overused buzzword, and a lot of people talk about it, but it would have been easy for them to not live up to the expectations of previous years, but you can see the collective responsibility to play like an Oak Hill team is expected to play.
And of course for Lalu, they're just coming off of the most successful period for just about any high school basketball program in terms of producing NBA players. What a block! Nothing going, and MJ Rice gets way up to turn that one aside.
MJ Rice doing it on both ends. Here we go. As you said, Joe, he just got a way of figuring it out. He'll splash it over you if he can't drive it through you, and don't try and go up on that man.
You are watching the St. James NIBC Invitational. Ten-point advantage for Oak Hill halfway through the second quarter here. Two of the top high school basketball teams in all the country. You see Oak Hill ranked number 5. And coming up tonight, Adam Finkelstein at 7:30 on ESPN, we do have IMG Academy and Montverde in what should be a classic. Sunrise Christian Paul VI coming up right after this.
Well, everybody's talking about number 1 versus number 2, and rightfully so, but I'm going to tell you this. Sunrise Christian with Kennedy Chandler and Paul VI with Trevor Keels shows 2 of the very best guards in all of high school basketball. You will not want to miss that.
And Keel's still up for grabs at this point. 3 teams still in it as well. And you look at where he's going to end up, he's going to get a heck of a player. There's some players here in this one as well. You look at that 10-point lead for Oak Hill. MJ Rice has been such a massive part. His fingerprints all over this game so far. Extra pass coming, Okpara.
So you talk about the veteran coaching of Steve Smith. It's the second time we've seen him come out of the huddle when La Lumiere has the ball and do something to change it up defensively. The first time it was a 2-3 zone. That time it was a half-court trap.
Beautiful floating finish pulls La Lumiere back to within 8. And the offense has been good as well coming out of timeouts. You've seen Oak Hill executing what they've wanted to do out of stoppages.
Well, and that's what they call an ATO, meaning an after timeout. It is the at every level. It's an emphasis for coaches to be able to draw something up and get prime execution from their club out of that huddle. Great crossover.
And Fears left his man in the dust. Too many steps for J.J. Starling. Got caught at the top of the key. Looked like he was expecting something to come up.
Well, that's the next step for J.J. Starling. He's known as a shooter. He's got long arms. He's a high-character guy. You can run offense with him. As he continues to add some individual offense and some creativity off the dribble, his game's going to go to new levels.
Saw Pat Holmes, the head coach of La Lumiere. Okpara cleans the glass again. That's his 5th rebound of the game.
He's another guy who could be approaching triple-double type numbers the way he's passed the ball.
Trying to help here. And no dice. It'll go down to Oak Hill.
So that's the area of his game that needs work. But it's easier to make shots when you're taking a lot of them. And so I think for him, if I were his coach at halftime, I'd say to him, hey, don't worry about that jumper. You've played a terrific half. You've made those around you better. You're playing the way we need you to play.
Well, there are just others asked to score and shoot a lot more. You're right about that.
Well, he's been the guy, if you look at the numbers throughout the week, he's taken more shots than anybody on this La Lumiere team. But I think today has been his most efficient performance.
Jump ball called as diving down to the court for it was Trayton Thompson. 6'11", getting down on the floor and digging that one out.
See, 6'11", only 200 pounds though. He's a guy who's going to be introduced to that weight room at the University of Minnesota in a hurry. Headed home, a Glenwood, Minnesota native.
He's part of that size that you talked about at La Lumiere, just all over the place.
Well,
first unit, second unit.
Yeah, they've got tremendous size basically at every position on the floor, because even J.J. Starling at the two's got really good size and length. But I think the other thing is when you have the skill set that Thompson does, it allows you to play with size and space. You know, that's the key. It's great to be big, but you don't want to be big at the expense of your spacing.
Caleb Foster gives it up. Carter lets it fly. In, then out. Ripped away by Fears. Starling, downhill.
That's exactly what we're talking about. When you're a shooter like J.J. Starling and you come off screens, defenders have to run you off. You can take advantage and get right to the rim.
Ricks lost it underneath and looks like he's in a little bit of pain.
Nice finds.
Starling, just off on the iron.
Yeah, ball got a little flat on him.
Second chance up and in, and Fears found himself all alone under the hoop.
Well, La Lumiere stringing together a little bit of a run here. Cut into the Oak Hill advantage. Oak Hill, just about a 2.5 second differential. Ooh, almost a backcourt there.
Iwachukwu on the bench. So most of this runs occurred. 15 seconds until halftime.
And Lalu does not have a foul to give, which is important to note here.
Carter has to put it up. And that is how the half will end. 4.5 minutes, or almost 1.9 seconds left. Oak Hill scoreless over the last 4.5 minutes, as Carter couldn't find the rim on that one. Now a timeout called.
Yeah, Lalou's going to see if they can draw something up here, take advantage of this last possession.
It's felt like Lalou hasn't found a whole lot offensively in the first half here, but if they're able to find a bucket here, you're within a single possession down the floor. You got to like where you are.
Yeah, I think Lalou's shown a lot of heart here and certainly made a late run. Oak Hill has gotten more easy points and points in the paint. They've been able to kind of figure things out, as you noted earlier. MJ Rice finding ways to score, but I think Lalou has really done a nice job here down the stretch of the second quarter.
Patrick Holmes' squad, so well coached, so well disciplined, we've seen on the defensive end. You can tell who's at the top of the scouting chart, but they know what to do, it seems like, with every player on Oak Hill. They added another second here, so we've got just under 3 left until halftime. Now we'll see what Lalou can do with it.
So you got it. Time for an extra pass here. Oh.
Intercepted, and it's thrown up at the last second by Ricks. Oh, man. That would have been 2 straight buzzer beaters for Ricks to end quarters, but at halftime, it is Oak Hill 27 and La Lumiere 23. Coming up tonight, a massive showdown between high school basketball, just powerhouses, IMG Academy and Montverde. That's coming up at 7:30 on ESPN. We'll be talking about it coming up at halftime.